Hello there, Data Dick One, or as you're now known, LinkedIn Top Voice Data Dick. You
Yeah.
finally made it.
Well, no, I have had one before. This ain't my first radio dick
It's
too.
not your first one. How many
I lost.
articles did you need to comment on to get Top Voice?
I don't actually know. I don't do it religiously. I'll be honest. I don't know.
And I presume it doesn't
Um,
actually check that what you've written is sensible. You
it
could write
does.
any nonsense as long as you write something.
I quite often do. I don't. I
Well,
didn't mention wonky data though, so that probably might be why.
that's why. So, well, it's a milestone worth celebrating. It's not everyone who
Don't know
gets
about
to be a
that.
LinkedIn Top Voice.
Top guy.
Yeah, as long as they share your posts now more widely, then it might make a difference. But
Well, I've seen it on. I have on good authority from a number of different people that the reach is down. So
yeah,
obviously it is holiday season, but it all goes back to the post I made the other day about asking whether people use hashtags or not. And there seems to be a lot of confusion over whether they make any difference as well.
I've seen quite a few posts actually saying, "Why'd you bother? No one searches LinkedIn by hashtag," and I kind of agree. But because I've been putting "Be a Sinner" and "Hasheru" as hashtags on mine since day one, I now feel stupid not putting them on. So I'm kind of just doing it out of force of habit, but knowing full well there's not a single person in the world who's doing a search on be a sinner as a hashtag.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. Someone somewhere, some bot in Russia or somewhere might be.
Not sure you want a
But
bot from Russia trying to search you out, to be fair.
hey, anyone searching me out is fine if it boosts the rankings. I'm not bothered who it is anymore. I've got about 3,500 fitness gurus at the moment following me, trying to tell me I'm overweight and should do something about it. So
Maybe that's to do with your recent surfing activity. Maybe they want to sign you
well,
up as a
one of them did.
trainer.
One of them did do a direct message the other day, and I did reply with, "Have you not seen my recent post? I'm an athlete, so I don't know why." There was none of that because that involves standing up, Richard. I was
True.
firmly face down.
In the sun.
Yeah, pretty much. But my son was doing it, and he was quite good, and a couple of the others he was doing it with had dropped out. So I I stepped up and I got my wetsuit on and I
Stepped
got in the
off.
water and I had my first ever surf lesson at the age of 46 and quite possibly my last ever surfing lesson at the age of 46 because I'm pretty sure it nearly killed me. It was hard work. It's so hard.
Never been surfing. I've been windsurfing.
Yeah.
Can't be too different.
This is much harder, Richard. So they tell me.
I don't know. Windsurfing, you're off to your own devices. If you go, you can't turn the damn thing round. You ain't coming back. So,
It's that Del Boy, isn't it? In Only Fools and Horses, where he leaves.
It is. You can. I'm trying to turn round, but I'm still going the same way.
Yeah. At least with surfing, you just roll off and fall off and splash around a bit, and then try again. But no, it was good fun. But yeah, not a sport. If you're going to do it. Start young. I think is my advice on surfing. Everyone
46 is
else,
still young.
I'm looking at green bowls to be honest with you now, Richard. It seems a lot easier, just bending a bit and rolling a little ball.
Oh, those type of green balls.
That's that type of green ball. Very different to your image of the Jolly Green Giant that you just got in
See,
your
the thing
head.
is, I turned 50 at the weekend and I'm still an immature idiot. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the problem with men, though, isn't it? We're all still 15 in our heads.
Yeah. Quite often.
Never really
a
grown
big
up.
dose of reality comes down.
Yeah, like working
Anyway.
for a living. But
Oof.
anyway, Richard, we were going to talk today a little bit about AI and your post the other day that
It's coming for our jobs. It's coming for our
it's coming
jobs.
for our jobs, taking over. Good, because I don't want to work anymore. As long as it can earn me money, I'm fine with that. But it was it a Forbes article that said AI is
Yes.
not for small businesses or something?
And
And
it was
again,
a
it
very
kind of falls
strange.
into our whole chat on PR of data and stuff.
Yeah, it was a very conflicting article for me because inside it was saying the reasons why, and so it identified the reasons why people, smaller businesses, might be a bit hesitant. But the headline, if you are searching as a small business going, how can I adopt AI? And something like that jumps out, you're just going, what a load of bollocks. E. I just, it just was really, really, I thought it was really bad, to be honest. And then when it goes back to, as you say, about the whole PR data thing, where it's the same concept for me as the data and analytics world, where it's, oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's only for the big boys and girls. And we spoke about that before, but I've seen instances where AI, again, I think if you're developing your own model, then yeah, of course, it's going to take time, resources, and huge amounts of data. So for smaller businesses, of course, that's not really relevant. But that was not what the article said. And it's the practical reasons of seeing the value and being able to implement. And you go, there's loads of cases where AI and automation is perfectly suitable for smaller businesses, as are data and dashboards. But with that perception, then I just thought it was very wrong. So I called it out.
Yeah, and again, AI is a term that covers many areas anyway. So again, it's quite generic. And a couple of weeks ago, at the end of last month, I think I went to an AI conference, which was specifically for small businesses, and it's explaining to them how to use generally kind of large language models, ChatGPT and Claude, and a really cool one that they told us about, Sintra X, which is a new one, but it's built on I think it's built on ChatGPT, but they've designed like 17 or 18 characters, and each one's got a specific role. So there might be a web guy or an email marketing guy or a business coach within it. So you can go to the one you want to get the advice on, but they all interact with each other in your business as well. So you've essentially got 16 or 17 helpers sat next to you.
Interesting.
And I put a post about on it because I obviously still working with a lot of local authorities, and I'm still seeing the ways they're looking at it as being, we need to build something or we need to develop something, rather than actually you've got these tools. And I likened it to having like Steve Jobs and Richard Branson and Einstein and people sat next to you in a room. They're there. You can ask them any question. You can ask them as many times as you want. They're not going anywhere. And we're asking them to summarize meeting notes and give us a list of actions. We're not using them to kind of look at how we improve ourselves or how we improve our business. But in this, but in this conference, I'm skipping that. They're not writing the book, Richard. It's very wrong to say that. In the conference, that's the point, actually. You haven't liked my LinkedIn post yet today, because that is the prologue to the book. No, you'll have to dig that one out, because the 4 people that have liked it so far are ahead of you.
Right. You should have been posting about surfing, and you would have got 50 likes.
I know. That's the thing, isn't it? The more Facebook it is, the more likes you get anyway on LinkedIn these days. But the conference, they were talking about the prompts and how to use them. And again, although I dallied with ChatGPT and stuff and I've played with it, they were showing us prompts. Yeah, they're well, chat to it at night, but actually the guy who hosted it told everyone to put it on their phone and talk to it. So I'm going with me being at the head of the curve on that one. So yeah, you mock, but I'm miles ahead of everyone else in the relationship I have with ChatGPT. But I'll get to my point eventually. Some of the prompts that they were talking about, some of the prompts they use in their business, are like 3 or 5 pages long that they're putting in. They're really specific. And there was an example of a guy who had been to a conference and he expected like 10 inquiries and got 100. And each one manually takes him an hour to do. So he'd set a load of tools up, AI kind of into AI with a bit of Zapier and a few other bits. And he was now knocking quotations out within kind of 15 minutes and of a high quality. than what they were before. And the marketing company who did their talk was saying similar things, like as a business of people, we can handle, like, let's say it was 3 big clients each, and there's 10 of them, so they can handle 30 clients. But actually, through creating incredible prompts and using the tools properly, they can now handle 6 clients each. So they were kind of like doubling all their, well, they were doing more than doubling their profits, because actually their costs were only going up by £15 a month, but the amount of money coming in was obviously exponentially more. But they were using the tools in a way that scored all the work they were doing. So they weren't sending anything creative out until they'd run it all through ChatGPT, which had been designed with a set of criteria. It must be, I've actually got next to me, it must have a really good hook. It must be direct. It must have clarity. It must be specific. But then they've gone into, this is what a good one looks like versus this is a bad one. And until your bit of ad copy scores over 80 or 85%, it doesn't go anywhere. So instead of one person having to kind of mark everyone's work, they've now got a tool that they can continuously drop their work into, get feedback, and ask it what needs changing. And that kind of, I think for me, opened my eyes a little bit into how smaller businesses need to think of it, as a lot of the stuff we see is, yeah, we can do meeting minutes and we can do actions and we can do agendas and we can almost like make some of those admin tasks quite efficient. But actually, you as a small business, like I said, you've literally got a room of 100 of the brightest minds ever sat that you can just constantly sit and have a conversation with and ask questions of and ask ideas and ask to change things. And I've thrown reports out of Hashroom into ChatGPT, had them turned into PDF reports with information, and dropped them into one called... is it called Ask Your PDF, I think it's called, and then it analyzes it all and gives you a report at the bottom. And you're kind of going, right, that's insight that would have taken me hours to pull together as a small business. So it just kind of allows you to become, I think, or to operate like a bigger business without having to grow through employing people that you might not be able to afford to employ. You just have to have a bit of common sense, I think, where you're looking at what it's telling you and going, okay, AI does sometimes get it wrong, so I still need to be able to kind of interpret what it's telling me.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's telling me all this stuff is incredibly powerful compared to what I had before.
I agree. I think it's definitely got a place, but it was just the article was very odd, and I think that perception that it just doesn't help anybody. And I think there is definitely, I've seen cases, I've been to a presentation of a guy locally who did explain the difference of how to create prompts properly and how to hit work and how to improve them and keep asking questions. And he wasn't suggesting you set your own up. He wasn't suggesting you just use it to do stupid stuff. It was real genuinely giving you advice on how, as an individual, not even a business, it can make life easier for you. And again, I think that, like you said, the broad brush of AI, it can mean anything. And I think that's the problem, is that the perception of it is, it's too much of a broad description. There needs to be a specific, different breakdown that people are going to write lazy articles like that, I think, need to be aware of that. It obviously has benefits. Being a Microsoft, I mean, I am agnostic. I'm not advocating anybody, but if you've got a Microsoft, they've got a Copilot and things like that. Yeah, it's still, it's a bit clunky at times, but for the cost of a Microsoft license, you get access to some of the Copilot stuff, and that's AI technically. And you're going, well, why is that such a? I think you get it as part of it. I've not actually used it as Copilot, but you're going, well, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
Where's the issue with that? Doing that? And
I agree, and it's one of the cool things I think that they've said at this was the marketing company pretty much said you can have that they gave everyone in the company like an hour and a half every Monday morning just to play with it and just to go off and use different versions and Claude and Leonardo and ChatGPT and Gemini and everything and just have a play, so that when they then approached it from what we've talked about before, what's the problem we're trying to solve? You've got a thing of going, does AI fit this problem? Does it help us resolve it? Rather than going, here's an AI tool, how do we use it in our business? It's very much, here's the problems, where does AI fit? And because the team had been playing with it for a few weeks and got to grips, and they'd all fed back to each other what they'd been doing and how they'd been using it, they could answer some of those questions, where they could sit and go, right, well, the problem is we can't grow as a business without recruiting more people or upping the number of clients per person that we currently deal with, which in the current terms would mean doing 60-hour weeks, not 40-hour weeks. Then you can look at it and go, okay, how do we use AI to solve that problem? And then you've got some specifics to work against. And I think that's one of the key things that we've always said is everything you're doing is kind of about solving problems. It's not going out and finding the tech. And this, again, local government, there's a few areas where I've seen where it's almost like they've just held massive workshops and gone, right, we've now got AI, or we've got Copilot licenses, or we've got something. Can you all now work out how you want to use it? And I'm not going to slate them too much, because at least they're doing it, which is a lot more advanced than a lot of councils are in the first place. But it kind of suggests to me that they don't know what problems they're trying to solve with it. They've gone technology first. We've got this. How do we now figure out its uses and justify the cost of it? Whereas actually, if you understand the problems you've got and what you need to achieve and where you want to get to, and then AI's role, whether that's large language models or automations or machine learning or whatever it is that you need to do, that's where that then fits in, and you start problem solving with it. And I think if you can get to that point, then kind of the modern PR element around AI and how great it is actually disappears a little bit, because I think it has almost been, it reminds me a little bit of 5G, when 5G came out and it was all, 5G's here, isn't it great? And you're like, what do we do with it? It's like, well, your phone will be a bit quicker,
a bit faster.
And you're kind of like, okay, brilliant, thanks. What else can we do with it? Well, someone in China could do an operation on someone in England over 5G, and like, great, but you could do that over Wi-Fi anyway. So that's good, but you haven't really. And it was almost like they didn't really know why they were doing 5G, apart from it was the next version after 4G. Yeah. But then they couldn't justify it.
That 3G.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with data. It's the same. Well, yeah, it's the same with data project. Like we've both said this before. You don't use it. You sign up for. Oh, this looks like a great bit of tool. Let's just get this in right now. What we're going to replicate all our reporting in this tool, and then what?
Yeah.
What are you solving? What are you doing with it? And that's something I say repeatedly: is don't replicate like for like what you're doing now. Use it as an opportunity to go, how can we make this better? How can we drive decisions? How can we support things easier using the technology that we're going to implement that we haven't decided what it is yet? It's not, you almost then, technology drives the outcome, but it also maybe searches for the problem, which is the wrong way around. You don't search for a problem to solve in technology you've just got. By then you're making problems out that maybe don't exist, or you're not dealing with the root cause. It could be data quality, it could be training, it could be people skills that are actually the problem, and your tool that you have at the moment is perfectly sufficient. It just means that you need upskilling, or you need an awareness which is more appropriate. And again, that's the same. Again, that transcends into AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, this conference was kind of eye-opening to me into how big the prompts were that they were using and how they'd set them up so they could repeat the same prompt over and over again. And I'm now talking to one of the councils I work with about their PMO situation and how their papers go through and the governance. And we've almost set similar prompts up where it basically says you're going to act as two separate people. One is the finance director and one is the head of transformation. we're going to put our stage 1 proposals through you. You need to score it out of 5 for ambition, problem, and action. Here's what a good answer for each of those looks like, and here's what a bad answer looks like. And again, it's almost like until you score 25 out of 30, it's not coming to the board for approval. So if you haven't got the numbers in it, or they're not clear, or it's ambiguous in any way, it will get rejected by the AI tool before it comes anywhere near a board to get approval, to end up you can imagine some of these boards, you get a paper in and you can chat about it for half an hour before you turn it down. It's almost like, get it to the board in a state where we all know it's scored a decent score. We can look at it and either do virtual approvals, or we can do very quick approvals, rather than having long conversations and meetings that take 2 or 3 hours. And we're even, I think,
proving something that could be done automatically. It's the same with dashboards and stuff, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't put stuff on there that people have to have explained to them, or things that people don't understand, or things that people don't need, because it's pointless. It's a waste of time, and you're creating something that is not necessary. So, cool. Apologies, I interrupted you.
You did. I can't remember where I was going. We were kind of even thinking, the later stages of the project, once the projects are running. Again, at the moment, it's almost like a manual report that's then put together. We chat to everyone, we understand where the projects are, and then that gets presented at another board. And you're kind of going, well, actually, with all the different AI tools you've got now, you could pull that report, you could turn it into a PDF, you could put it into Ask Your PDF to give you a complete summary of every project and where it's at. You could then stick that into something like Synthesia that records a video with an AI avatar talking over the top of it and make it verbal. And instead of having a meeting, you just send everyone a link and say, can you all watch this before next Wednesday at a time that suits you, that you've got time to sit and watch it, rather than forcing people into a room at the same time and having to move meetings around and everything else. That I know councils love a meeting, but
pre-meeting meeting, and then a meeting, a pro-meeting meeting, and then
a meeting to discuss the meeting after the meeting that they've had. But it's not. But it's not going out and building stuff. You don't have to be sat there going, we're going to build a tool, or we're going to do that. These are just commercially available tools that you can just link together and go, actually, we take it from this system, we put it into that one, ask it to analyze it. That one converts it to a PDF and gives us a summary. And the PDF document goes into Synthesia and gets turned into a video. There's nothing, that's 30 quid a month probably in license fees. And you could probably get a huge amount of work done in the time you've saved having to go visit lots of different directors, talk them through reports and everything else. And you've probably got more insight into where your projects are at and blockers and issues with them than you do have when you're doing it manually. Because let's face it, you don't always get a really good update, or the project manager you want to speak to is on leave that week, so you've got no update at all. But all of it comes back to my kind of points I've always talked about, is if you're capturing the right data in the first place, and you've got this, for me, qualitative data that I talk about alongside the project data, not just are you hitting the milestones and are you on budget, it's what are you doing, why are you doing it, when are you doing it, that kind of information. Then you can start to use the AI to do the analysis of that for you. Are we making the right decisions? Are we on track? What have we delivered? When are we doing it? And you train ChatGPT with your prompts again to review your projects for you. And again, your PMO then can become a slightly different team or a different unit within the organization, one that actually spends time working with you, improving you, rather than just kind of monitoring how many reports have come in on time and chasing you and trying to get follow-ups or financial information or anything else that they're doing.
But AI is coming for jobs.
It is, but at the moment, the good thing is they're only co-pilots, so they're very much designed to work next to you. But funny enough, Richard, in my first book, my second book, third book's on its way. In my second book,
Is ChatGPT or Clue writing that for you?
I am writing the vast majority of that, but there is a 1-paragraph introduction to each chapter that is written by ChatGPT. And if I took the paragraph out, it would make absolutely no difference to the rest of the book. It's just quite a nice scene-setting paragraph, and you'll understand why when you see the book, because it's set in the future and it's a dystopian kind of 2060 Japanese city with someone visiting a temple to go and talk about stuff. But that's the bit that's scene set by ChatGPT, and then the rest of the book is actually a conversation between two people. And I will say, Richard, that is 100% written by me. And I'm going to be very honest.
I would never cast such aspersions lightly.
No, but I am going to be very honest, and all the bits that are ChatGPT in the book are actually at the moment in italics, and it does say at the back these bits were added partly to prove a point that actually you can use it in ways that are quite creative and different, but that doesn't mean it writes the book for you, but it enhances
the subject of AI,
the story base.
Yeah, have you seen the movie The Creator?
Yes. The Will Smith one?
No.
Is it Will Smith?
Will Smith. No, it's got Denzel Washington's son in it. It's about artificial intelligence, and what it is that they actually are.
Is it the small child?
There is a small child involved, yes.
Yeah. Who is the
Washington's
creator?
son is not a small child. But
yeah.
About how artificial intelligence is seen by the human race as such a threat, but all it wants to do is live alongside. It doesn't want to, but that dynamic has been created because what was it? I think a nuclear weapon went off somewhere obviously in LA. I think it was, but they blamed it on AI, but actually it was an error, a human. I may have made that bit up. But it was something. It wasn't actually to do with the AI, and they just wanted to coexist. And it was really on that whole topic. It was really interesting how you can almost somehow see when people are saying, "Oh, AI is coming for our jobs," and you're going, "Actually, it's not." And it's that, or you can almost see that replicated in the movie. Yeah. Obviously, with lots more death and blood and killing involved. But.
Yeah, some good bits, but I'll go back to the point I was going to make about the book before you sidetracked me. In the second book, still available on Amazon, that I did make the point that actually hundreds of years ago we used to cut the fields with lots of workers with scythes, and then someone invented a combine harvester type tool, and it was pulled by horses and it was a machine. But you don't walk down the street and there's 100 people stood there with scythes going, "Oh, combine harvesters took our jobs." They then developed and they became people who looked after the horses, or they became engineers, and they started. You adapt and you do something different, and that's all I see AI as enabling you to do, so that it's there to help you. You can now combine more fields quicker than you could manually, but there's still as many people in employment today as there was in the 1600s. We're just doing different jobs. We do different things now in different ways. And that I think that will just develop anyway. And I think it's not how quick you adopt, but there is an adoption thing of getting to understand what some of these different tools are. And as we said, AI is quite a generic term that covers many, many things, but you need to start to think about what all the different elements of it are, how they can help you, how they can support you. And it might just be that we end up in a world where most companies are 2 or 3 people strong, because that's all you need to be, because you've got an army of AI bots essentially helping you do all the other bits for you, and you're essentially controlling a team of non-people. But there can be hundreds of those businesses all doing stuff, and we can do more. Go a bit hippie. We could do more jobs that are about conserving the earth and animal welfare, sorting the seas out, all of that stuff, rather than some of the stuff we're doing today. There's my hippie take on it, but I see it as
you've been surfing too much. You have.
I know that's the problem with it. One surf lesson, Richard.
Surf lesson. It's gone all weird on me.
Next podcast, hair will be down here, and we'll be wearing and a tie-dye top on. But for me, I think it's just learning how to use it and not being afraid. You can't really break it if you're using something like ChatGPT, and just think of it as a tool that allows you to have a conversation. Whereas Copilot, I think, and some of the others are a bit more, we've had a meeting, tell me what happened in it. ChatGPT is a lot more where you can say, will you act as my finance director? Here's my results for this year. Tell me where we've gone wrong, what we can improve on, how these numbers work, etc., and have it report back to you. And again, if you don't like it, you go, I don't like what you've said. Can you focus on this bit, or can you expand here? And it doesn't get bored or annoyed at you.
I'm sure
Apparently.
It could be.
Allegedly. It might do in the background, but allegedly it doesn't.
We could. I'm sure. Maybe that's a task for next time, see if we can break ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Get
so if you can be like a 5-year-old child.
Piss off.
Yeah. You'd be like a 5-year-old child who just writes why at the end of every comment. Why?
Yeah. Oh, you see, that's a sort of annoying little task that appeals to me. I think I might go and try and break ChatGPT.
Set yourself
off.
Yeah, you could set something up that just auto responds to it and just says why every time it says something.
Yeah, I'll break it.
And in the background, it's building Skynet a little bit quicker because you've annoyed it.
Yeah.
End of the world, and it was all Richard's fault.
Yeah. Learn from this.
I'm trying to save the world.
Why?
I'm trying to save the world, and you're ruining it for everyone.
I'm not ruining anything. I just think it'd be quite funny.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that's how the glitch in the film you just talked about happened. Actually, someone kept saying "why" to it on the nuclear codes. Yeah.
What's the nuclear code? Why?
And then it just went, "I don't know what."
Nuclear code is why, is it? And you go, "Why?" You go, "Oh no, I've just set the bomb off."
Yeah. The code is 5 whys.
Not the Simpsons when he puts loads and loads of weight on so he can work from home, and then he ends up just typing in "why." And he says, I made a labour saving today. I just have to put "why" now. I don't have to type "why yes." Brilliant.
Yes. Anyway.
Anyhow.
But yeah, I think the summary of that, Richard, is the article was wrong. It was a crap article. AI is a generic term, and there's lots of different uses for it. There's automations, large language models, there's machine learning, there's all sorts of things that fall under that bracket. But as we've always said, it's not about going and buying tech and thinking, how the hell do we use this? It's find where you've got problems in your organization, find what you can't achieve, and then basically find the tools that work for you to do that.
Exactly.
And always say please and thank you.
Always say please and thank you, especially at night. You say good night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you asked her to teach you how to surf?
No, but I might do now. I hadn't thought of that. How do you take a 46-year-old, slightly overweight man with no flexibility in his hips and put him on a surfboard and get him surfing?
What would be the outcome?
Yeah, what would be the outcome of this?
Drowning or severe pain. Any outcome ranging from severe pain to drowning.
As I said, luckily it was anyway steep, so I was all right. But yeah,
you could have landed head first and kind of buried your head and you got stuck.
I did wipe my son out at one point. I think he was just about to stand, and I went straight through him. So that was handy. Always good to get one in, isn't it? Just remind him who's boss.
Keep it in its
place. You might be standing, but I can still drown you. Don't you forget that.
Yeah, you might be standing, but not for long, sunshine.
Bring him down a peg or two. So, anyway, on that note of child abuse, we should call it a day.
Oh, what?
I know. And I shall speak to you next week, mate.
Take care.
Cheers, Richard. Bye.